Cowboys Collective episode. What were we? 44 last week, Scott?
Yeah, I believe so. Tyler Klutz.
So we're 45. I don't know any 45.
I couldn't give you a 45, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't give you a 45. Hey, man, no intros. No, you guys know everybody on the pad. I do intro. John Machota, Sky, Law Nation. If you got Law, he's on site and he's a little pixelated, a little choppy, but we'll push through. Before we go, stop blaming me for being late. Y'all gonna stop doing that to me. All right. I am tired, but y'all gonna stop blaming me. As always, we are starting the Cowboys Collective. This one's gonna be a hot one, Sky.
Yeah.
We're starting it with John Machota. Here's Johnny.
There is absolutely, like, I'm not saying this for everybody, but for me as a person, like, days like this are just what I love covering the Cowboys, man. I love it.
Thanks for that, John.
I love it. Like, just like how wild like the last like hour has been. So like I agree to do this show with WFA and Joe Trahan. And he's like, yeah, it's gonna be at this time or whatever like that. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll be back there. I got to write a couple stories and I'll get over there. And then this Guyton news drops. Ian Rappaport puts out that, you know, it looks like it's an ACL and he's going to be out for the season and they're going to do some more tests. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's what we're going to talk about, you know? And then now I know that what I just got done writing doesn't matter because now I have to write something about the offensive line. And literally as we sit down to do this show, like I'm texting people, felt like kind of like Adam Schefter or felt like Shams on NBA trade deadline. And I'm like texting people and they're getting back saying, yeah, I'd hold off on that. I don't think it's that serious. And I'm just like, wait, what are you talking about? You know? And so while I'm trying to do this show with them, and so it went from being an ACL injury done for the season, which we'll get into the differences in that, like just for team wise, but then it goes to being like, so I had multiple sources tell me that what Tyler Guyton actually has is he has a bone fracture and a sprained knee. And so for that, you go from season ending and needing knee surgery to no knee surgery and back in 4 to 6 weeks. So I think asking for the season opener is probably a lot, but the biggest thing for me on that is that to me is the difference in Tyler Smith staying at left guard and Tyler Smith moving to left tackle. And I'm not saying that that's a guarantee, but if you tell me Tyler Guyton's out for the season, I'm moving Tyler Smith out to left tackle if I got to play this whole season with somebody else there. But now with this being the case, you can put in Akeem Adeniji. Nate Thomas is a guy that they really like a lot who has really impressed the coaches out here. And then there's also Asim Richards. And so there's a lot of moving parts there, but I'm so fascinated by this because this is my 15th year covering the Cowboys and I have never been out. I've been out to Oxnard now for the last 12. I have never been out here when there's been an injury and the prognosis has changed in an hour that drastically. There is no comp I can give you to that at all. And so it's huge for the Cowboys because you lose Tyler Guyton. Now you're playing musical chairs on the offensive line. And I just don't think that this team can have the success that they need to have with an okay musical chairs offensive line. And so watching the play when it happened, it was a pass play. So, you know, Guyton's dropping back in pass protection and he gets rolled up on the back of his leg. And so I just really want to stress to everyone that this is not because of practice. Like you couldn't be any safer practicing than the Cowboys practice. I mean, just the stuff that Schottenheimer does, like they don't do anything like this in OTAs or minicamp. And this is only the second day in pads. So even in pads, they're not tackling to the ground. They're not supposed to be taking guys to the ground, but it's football. Guys are going to fall to the ground. And that's what happened in this instance. So it comes on a day where obviously we learned earlier in the day that Rob Jones is going to be out for 2 to 3 months with a broken bone in his neck, which sounds nasty. Yeah. And so now you're just thinking, oh, well, what's going on at these practices? I'm telling you, like, I think Schottenheimer does a great job structuring these practices to, like, even today, they're doing deep ball drills. He's not even having George Pickens and CD doing all the running that goes with it because they're going to about to do that in team. He just has them go deep down the field and then just catching balls over their shoulder over and over again. So he's not ramping up the GPS that they track these guys on throughout practice. He's like making sure that, hey, the workload is going to stay what it needs to be because we need this team to be healthy. You know, that's the key part of it. And so, this Guyton news just the other reason why I said I love covering this team too is just like I talk to writers that cover other teams, and I can just tell you this right now. Like, Kyer Elam picks off a pass somewhere else, picks up a kid out of the crowd and holds him up Lion King style. I'm writing about that all day long. For the Cowboys, it's like, well, yeah, I'll write about that. But now Steven's talking over there about Micah. Oh, Micah's coming out over here. Oh, what's George Pickens and Dak doing? Oh, is somebody hurt over here? Like, it just keeps going. Oh, is Jerry going to talk after practice? Like, it's like, yeah, that's my 10th story. I could have wrote about Jaden Blue's great one-handed catch. Like, there's just so much stuff with the Cowboys. And let's be honest, that's the way Jerry wants it. I'm not saying it's the best thing for winning, but if you love the craziness of it, like I do, it's really fun to cover.
Yeah, but if you strip down the craziness, there was some things in there worthy of talking about that means something to the Cowboys, right? You talked about Elam, that's real. You need Elam for this season. You talk about Jaden Blue, that's your electric guy. That's your juice guy. You want to see him develop. So yeah, when you get rid of all the drama, those things are important to Cowboys Nation, Cowboys fans, but they may not really move the headlines elsewhere, I guess.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Sky said, a lot to unpack there, John. I'm with you, John. I thought this is what I said, and this is the thoughts of Foots. This isn't the thoughts of Sky or John. I really didn't appreciate Ian just jumping out there with that. Only because it's an injury, and it's like, guys, I get it. We want to be first, but just me, I don't know if I feel comfortable saying something like, and he does. They all do it, even if they got to walk it back. They just throw it out there.
Yeah, they do the feared thing.
Yeah. And you know what it does, Sky? It struck fear into this fan base.
Yeah.
Like it did, and rightfully so. And it's just like, dog. Like, they literally just ended practice. I don't even know if they even had the MIR machine where he was. Like, come on, bro. It's okay. We know you're Ian Rappaport. You'll get more retweets than Adam. Like, just chill. So that kind of threw me for a loop, John. But like my mom always said, don't rush to judgment. Let the information come out. That's why I like people like yourself. Brian was one of the first people that I heard say, hold on, it may not be that. And you know what, John? Scott, I don't remember a time where there's been an injury reversed in a good way.
I said that to Vox. We were texting, during as it was happening. He was like, "Hey man, we're not sure yet. A couple people saying he has to get, this has to be confirmed." I'm like, man, you don't normally see Ian say so and so was feared and it's not true, and then 20 minutes later, it wasn't true. So this is kind of unprecedented, and it is a case of, hey, you're trying to be first and not right. I'm with you. I'd rather be right. That's why I don't just jump out here and report this, report that. I'd rather be right, not right, arguing with people, but something like this, when you're reporting something, you want to be right. It's not about being first.
Yeah, I kind of get a little bit where they're coming from when you cover the entire league, because there's so much news out there, and there's times where you probably hear something from an agent that you're like, well, in this case, this guy said this, that means he's probably done for the season, and those guys are usually done for the season, and so you go with it. Whereas, like, for me, like, I just want to cover the Cowboys. That's more than enough for me. I love doing that. So it's like, I don't want to be wrong, because I'll be honest with you, it'll bother me 10 years from now. Someone comes up to me and is like, hey, remember that time you reported that Guyton, blah, blah, blah? I'll be like, how did you remember that? And that stuff eats at me. So, like, there is a part of me with that. Like, unless I get it from, a really trusted source that I've built over the years, I generally don't go with stuff, because the other part of it is, too, is, let's be honest, how often are the local beat writers first when it comes to injuries and the contracts? A lot of times the agents are giving that to, the top, ESPN, NFL Network, those top insiders that cover the entire league. Because let's be honest, those guys that cover the entire league have a lot more information to give those agents. I can't tell you what's going on in Charlotte at the Panthers, camp. I can't tell you what's going on at Lions camp. Whereas, like, a lot of these national guys, they have that, and gals, they can trade that information. And I just have never really wanted to be in that business, to be honest with you. I'm more than happy covering the Cowboys, and I want to do it for as long as I can. The other thing I was going to say, if it was an ACL, it was going to be the first one I can remember from training camp where the cart wasn't involved. The reason I didn't initially think it was an ACL is because, although he was limping a little bit when he walked off with Micah to go to get the x-rays, to go to the locker room, then the cart never even came around. And so that's why I was like, okay, so maybe it's like a meniscus or something like that. I never thought ACL in that moment. And so when that news surfaced, I was like, wow, that really surprised me. That's way worse than I thought. Also, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering, if they did training camp in Texas, there's a good chance you'd see some of these team drills and stuff like that on turf, because obviously the sun is just killing the grass. They only have the one grass field. Out here, it's on grass. Everything they do is on grass. That's one of the reasons they like coming out here. And so that tends to be better for knee injuries. You're not getting rolled up on and things like that. And so I just wanted to add that in there as well.
Hey, can we get a quick update for some people who are just jumping in here? They have not got the update on Tyler Guyton. So, John, if you want to kind of give them the update.
Yeah, it's not a season-ending ACL tear. It's a fracture. Let me make sure. I want to just make sure I say it right. It's a bone fracture and it's a sprained knee. So you're looking at, it's like a 4 to 6 week injury. The biggest difference here, if it's an ACL, season-ending knee injury, and as we know, I mean, covering or just watching any team, ACLs, that's a full year. And even when you come back off of that year, you're not always all the way back to where you need to be. And so no surgery for this injury. So 4 to 6 weeks. I know if you match it up perfectly, technically that could mean maybe he's back for the season opener. I don't think that'll be the case. But maybe week 2 or week 3. But even if it was week 6, this is way better news than if it was an ACL season-ending surgery and the whole deal. That's not what this is. And so Tyler Guyton has not been lost for the season. So they're going to have to find some patchwork, players or have an open competition. And I could see that being the case where, for the next few days, next couple of weeks, there's just different guys rotating in at left tackle. I said earlier on the show that if he was done for the season, I think there's a decent chance Tyler Smith moves out to left tackle. I don't think that's the case here. I think here you keep Tyler Smith on the inside and you go with an Akeem Adeniji, you go with an Asim Richards, you go with an Nate Thomas out at left tackle. My thing on Tyler Smith is very similar to my thoughts on Zach Martin. I think Zach Martin would have been a very good right tackle. He is a gold jacket right guard. I think Tyler Smith could be a very good left tackle. I think he's got the potential to be a gold jacket left guard.
Yeah, so this is what I want to do, guys, because we also got a bunch to get to, and I want to make sure we can hit it. We'll get Law on. I think he's having some issues with his sound. I want to do a few. I actually want to talk about scenarios, but briefly, because I want to talk about the Ferguson contract, and then I want to get to some standouts because, John, you hit it. The football on the field has been really good. There's been rookies making plays, one of Sky's guys. So I want to talk this is what I thought, and I'll get Sky to jump in as well. I was with you. The way that Tyler Smith was able to kick out and play tackle his rookie year, my first thought was go there, especially with over a long period of time. Awesome. But if you can get through 2 to 3 games in game plan, because this is what I always tell people, scheme-wise, it cuts a lot of your playbook in half when you always got to chip the back. I mean, we always got to keep the tight end to chip or max protect. And I just don't trust Asim Richards. I mean, I get it. People are like, you know what? He's done better and blah, blah. I was going to go get a vet. I don't want to see Asim Richards week 1 or even Akeem Adeniji. Like, I don't know enough about him to speak on him, but I also know, like, he's probably wouldn't have been the answer. I probably would have wanted to go get a veteran. Now, I'm like, you know what? We could get through 2 games. You have enough time to scheme it up, and Guyton comes back. What's your thoughts, Sky?
I just have to chuckle because this is very reminiscent of the Micah Parsons thing, right? Like, oh, well, we're kind of weak at linebacker. Move him to linebacker when he's an all-pro, all-world rusher, right? But he's so good, he can go play another position. Tyler Smith's so good, he can go play another position. When in reality, all that's doing is putting a Band-Aid over the issue. The issue is you ain't have good enough linebackers, so you don't got to have that conversation. The issue is you don't have good enough backup tackles, so you don't have to have that conversation. I'm with you. Initially, I was like, oh my gosh, 17 games. Do we have to move Tyler? I thought about, do we have to move Tyler Smith out there? I didn't want to because I think this interior is so damn good. I would love to keep that interior intact and let them
play good today too. They move.
I mean, them boys is bullies. They're going to be moving dudes. That depth is going to be great. You're going to get some push. That those counters and traps, the interior running is going to be great, I think. But if you lost your left tackle, I think it is a legitimate conversation. However, I would have done what you said, Foots, bring in some veteran competition and then have not just say, hey, this vet's going to be the left tackle. Awesome, Nate, Adeniji, and the vet, let them all battle it out for that spot. But either way, I don't think any of those, as we speak right now, July 28th, it is enough for you to feel comfortable for 17 games. Fortunately, that doesn't have to happen. Now you can let these guys battle it out for backup left tackle. And hopefully, we come away by the end of August saying, okay, yeah, I feel a lot more better about an Awesome. I feel better about Adeniji. I feel better about Thomas. But you're lying to yourself if you say, all right, man, he's out 17 games. I feel great about Awesome Richard for 17 games. Then that's just hoping him as opposed to realism, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just felt like that if that was the case and he was out for the year, I just think that there's a better chance that Tyler Smith is solid to good at left tackle, and you get, whether it be Brock Hoffman or Nate Thomas playing guard or TJ Bass, somebody in there. Again, it wouldn't be great, but it's different for me this year than it would have been last year. Last year, I would have really hated it because you would have had a rookie center, whereas at least, Cooper Beebe seems like he's progressing. He's got another year under his belt, but this is ultimately, you don't want to move Tyler Smith. That's your break glass, worst case scenario. But if you had to do it, you got to do it, because I just don't see this team being successful with bad offensive line play. They don't have the standout running backs. They have just okay line play. They need the line to be good. They need the line to be good for the passing game to work. All of that. So, and that's just not me. I mean, the actions speak louder than words. If Tet McMillan was there, they were going to take Tet McMillan. But with him being gone, how many people thought they were about to take a guard at 12? You know what I'm saying? They obviously knew how important it was to have the offensive line upgraded. And so if you were to lose Tyler Guyton for the full season, I mean, that would have been just an enormous blow before you really even get into any preseason games or any really meaningful competition. So now at least you have enough time. You can work out some different things and find someone that is at least solid over there until you get Guyton back.
Law, you want to jump in, Law?
Most certainly. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
It's not bad right there.
It's a time where it's not bad right here. It's crazy, man. But it's a long story. I don't have a long time. But I'll just say, is it too late to call Tyron Smith and tell him, come on in for a cup of coffee and I'll retire?
Hey, you know what's crazy? The alarm went off and said that was perfect timing, Sky.
He said, Tyron,
You know what's crazy, Law? I don't think Tyron would do it.
Right.
The way I think I flirted with it. I flirted with it, John. I feel like Tyron, where he's at in his life, I just feel like he's.
Hey.
I don't think he wants. I mean, now I'm like Sky asked Sky sips his coffee. Hey, it may be what you got in there, Sky. Is that coffee?
It's just coffee.
Hey,
it's not Irish. It's not Irish. It's just.
I'm just saying.
Coffee.
John, John, hey, look. So look, this is my thing. Tyron looks like he's happy with his married life. The man was dancing. I just feel like he could probably do it. He still looks like he's in great shape.
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't even know what he's doing, where he's at, but I probably would have called Jason Peters.
I was thinking, bro. I was thinking the same thing, bro.
I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing, and I was looking at some of the tackles, Sky, and so everybody was flirting. And we're gonna close here, y'all.
Yeah, let's put a bow on this.
Yeah, we'll put a bow on here. But I was looking at some of the tackles, and it was just like, man, these like, oh yeah, sign somebody. And even I said sign somebody earlier, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of rough. I mean, Ronnie Stanley is some guys, Cam Robinson. So, but anyway, as we're moving on, I want to let Sky take over this segment because his boy, his guy, Jake Ferguson, got paid.
Ooh, shaky Jakey.
Yeah, I wanted to. I had to throw you the alley-oop, Sky, because you have been on the table for Jake for a while. How you feel about it, Sky?
Yeah, I wasn't moved by a season last year because I actually dove into his down year. Was it a down year? Yes, absolutely. And I agree with Coach Shoddy. It was an anomaly to me more than it was a normality. And I think it had legitimate context that, hey, look, a lot of people don't really care about context nowadays anymore. But if you do dive into it, it's an explanation for a lot of that, what happened last year. So we can dive into it if you want. I don't feel like we need to. But Jake getting paid, though, I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised. I'm a Jake Ferguson fan. I believe in his bounce back. I think he's one of the easiest, stocks to buy for 2025, barring injury. But I'm surprised because I didn't feel like they wanted to pay the position. Yes, they franchise tagged Dalton and they did offer him a contract, right? But obviously, if they really wanted Dalton Schultz, they would have paid Dalton Schultz. So they franchised him and let him go. They did pay Blake Jarwin a while ago, so there is that, but he didn't get a lot. I think he got John, help me out, like $9 million guaranteed or something. It was a really low number a long time ago. This is a pretty decent deal. Top 10 deal for Jake Ferguson. I'm not really caught up in the hoopla of, they paid Jake first and this and that. Guys, even though they paid him first and it looks bad optically, like the optics look bad, just because you're in negotiations with a top guy doesn't mean you don't negotiate with anybody else. You don't pay anybody else. So I'm not in that mode of being frustrated they paid him first. I don't care if they paid anybody else first and not Micah, because I do believe that gets paid. There's two separate arguments here. There's the will they pay Micah, and then there's the how they're going about it, which is kind of the same way they've been going about it forever. But back to Jake Ferguson, I'm good with this. I think healthy, Dak back, he's going to be a top 10 tight end in this league. He's going to get back involved in the red zone. Big year for Jake, man. But I know a lot of people are torn on this one.
I thought it was interesting that he was asked about, waiting out this year and then getting to free agency next year to see what he could get. And I could see the Cowboys wanting to pay him now because there's probably part of them that thinks that he might have a huge year with all the attention that's going to be paid to CD and to Pickens. And then all of a sudden now he puts up an even better year than 2 years ago. And then now the price tag's even higher. I just think that, again, I love saying actions speak louder than words, but the actions are that they really think that the upside's much higher with him than they thought with Dalton Schultz.
Yes.
I think the athleticism's on a higher level. A lot of those seam balls and things that the catch radius he has down the middle of the field, I think, is on a different level than Dalton Schultz. And then just going back to, I'm glad you brought this up, Sky, on the different contracts and stuff. Like, for example, Jerron Bland talked about today how there has been talks with his agent and the Cowboys. He's one of the guys that are up. Tyler Smith, obviously another one. We mentioned him earlier. His agent, Joe Panos, he was out there today talking to Stephen Jones out on the practice field after practice was over. Joe Panos is a guy that they know well. He was the agent for Tyron Smith. He was the agent for Travis Frederick. He's also the agent for Tyler Guyton. And so they're talking. It's not like they're just only talking about, okay, well, we're not getting anything done until we get Micah done. It's, well, they can do these one day after another. They can do them all in the same day, but it just seems like that's pretty clear that that's who else they're looking at. It would be Tyler Smith, Jerron Bland, obviously Micah Parsons, as guys, there's other guys in the final year, George Pickens, Sam Williams, whatever, but I think they want to see them guys play this year more so than the other. I mean, I don't know what else you need to see from Tyler Smith, to be honest with you. So
I do that right now. He's a 15-year player.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm just going to say, I thought that it was a good move to sign Jake. I think he's very Dak friendly. I think him and Dak have a good rapport. The deal keeps him around Dak for the remainder of Dak's deal and whatever, Dak's deal is going forward after that. And he was a guy that was up for a contract, and obviously both sides thought it was a good deal. I don't think he pushed. I mean, the average annual value on the extension puts him around, I think it's the 7th highest among tight ends. But if you factor in this extension with what he's making in this final year of his rookie deal, I think he gets the number down to maybe closer to 11 million. And then 10. That knocks you down to or 10. Yeah. So that's not, $10 million a year, $11 million a year for Jake Ferguson for 4 years in the prime of his career. I don't think that that's a bad deal at all. And
I just want to say before I make my point, you guys, you're right. Ronnie Stanley is not a free agent. I was looking at something else. Ronnie Stanley. It was guys like Jedrick Wills, Jermaine Ifedi, so Andrews Pete, guys like that. But back to the point about the tight ends. So the thing that what you said, John, is so true. I think he has more upside than Dalton Schultz, who I like, by the way. I like Dalton Schultz a lot, but I also think that he has more pass catching juice, route running ability. And CD and George Pickens open up so much that receiver 3, we've said it, we see it, and we've seen it on the field. I mean, Dak and Jake Ferguson clicking, bro. And I don't think that's why they paid him, like because of this camp. But we see that it's just you're not going to have enough answers. There's not enough linebackers in the world that can, or cover guys in the world that can run with all of these guys when they're all right. When it's rolling, when you're moving CD around, you got pre-snap motion, and they got to, they have to communicate. Then you just leak Ferg to the flat. So the little things, and he's going to be reliable in that way. And like you said, John, the seam ball. The thing that bothers me about this, and I got to do it because me and Sky sat on the draft show when it happened. Why did they draft Luke Schoonmaker? I know it's revisionist
Brevin
history.
Spanford's out. They're going to need him now.
But John, do they? Because here's my deal. Yes, okay.
They need him.
They need him. They do, bro. But it's just like only reason why I'm saying this, I'm not. I told you so, guy. I be wrong a lot. I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not perfect. Lord help me. But me and Sky sat on this show. Nobody knew, bro. But we said no, Mike. Are you dumb? I'm not pooping on Luke Schoonmaker, y'all. Hope this doesn't get back to him. But I just felt like you're drafting an upside. You know what I mean, Law? You're drafting an upside player he had little to no production. His calling card was he's a physical blocker and he has pass catching upside. Come on, bro.
That RAS score, man.
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying. I just think overall that Ferg, this is a great deal. I think that Ferg is about to have a better season than he had in 2023. And the Cowboys going to come out looking like geniuses, man, with this particular payment. I like Ferg. I think Ferg is going all the way. And to what John Machota just said with Brevin Spanford, I can argue before he got hurt or nicked up, I think that he was pretty much showcasing that he would be your number 2 tight end because he was looking really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Brevin looked good.
Yeah, I heard that same thing too, Law. Speaking with Voch, he's like that he was getting a stranglehold, but that wasn't a knock on Luke because I'm hearing the tight end room in general was having a good camp, which is a far cry from the last few training camps. The beginning of the training camps, if you guys remember the last few years, we was like, hey, this tight end group is trying to figure it out. One more thing on Jake, why I think they also jumped here, and I don't think it was just sending a message. This isn't. Because a lot of people are comparing to 2019. I ain't gonna lie to you. I also, when I was texting 2i, I was like, hey, I just hope they don't come out and try to do the whole thing they did in 2019 where they was like, hey, Jalen Smith wanted to come to the piece of the pie and the table and all that stuff. But another reason why I think they did this is fit. I feel like Ferguson's fit in this offense is top tier. I'll say this stat and I'll end it here. Jake Ferguson was leading all tight ends heading into week 7 last year in routes or in yards and receptions on shifts and motions. So whenever he was shifted and whenever he was using in motion at the snap, he led all tight ends, not NFC East, not NFC, not AFC, the whole league in yards and receptions. And what have we seen, John and Law and Foots out there at camp? The Cowboys are using a ton of motion, a ton of shifts, and probably majority of that is the tight ends doing it. So if they're going to be doing that, and he was one of the best, if not the best, out of it last year, he's just a perfect fit in what Shoddy wants to do with these guys from any standpoint, pass catching, running, whatever you want to do. So usage, I think Ferg's usage is going to go way up this year. It can either be by quantity or the quality, the efficiency in it. Either way, a bounce back season, easy. Buy the Jake Ferguson stock.
Just because you said usage, 2 guys I was thinking of usage going up this year. Kevontae Turpin, Hunter Lipke, they're going to be involved. Yeah. You can just tell Schottenheimer is a big fan of both. When you watch practices, add in what he's said about both. He's going to use different ways to get both those guys out there. I mean, Lipke is fullback, halfback, tight end, moving him all over the place. Just went out of his way to just praise him today about all these little things that he's doing, things like that. Like, they're not going to keep him off the field. Like, you can just tell, and I know that Mike McCarthy liked Hunter Lipke a lot. And so it's not just a Schottenheimer thing. I know the coaching staff has felt like that he's deserved to get more opportunities and things like that. And so just from being out here, when you said the usage rate going up, those 2 immediately jump out to me. The other thing I was going to tell you guys too, with the running backs, I think I got Miles Sanders right now in the 1 spot. I think he's a move ahead of Javonte Williams for me.
Save this, John.
Okay. But I just want, when you said the usage thing, I was going to say that he's another one that you can just use him in a variety of ways, especially in the passing game and stuff like that too. Like as long as Miles Sanders is healthy, he would be the one right now if like you're a fantasy owner and you're trying to get like a late round running back or something. I would take a flyer on Miles Sanders.
You would take a flyer on Miles Sanders in fantasy.
Yeah.
Late rounds.
Late
All
round.
right. Listen. Hold on, Sky.
Someone had to take Rigo Dowdle and probably never fantasy.
Hey, John, I was just gonna say, do you think that Turpin can be a fullback too? You saw how powerful he is.
Yeah, running in Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I want to do right here, fellas. I sent y'all the rundown, and so John, he teased it, and let's go right into it. So we got, because John, you got about 10 to 15 minutes, correct?
Yeah.
And so you'll be jumping off. So John's he got a hard stop in about 10 minutes. So I want to get some of this on record, and then me and Law will carry Law and Sky will carry for the rest of the hour. So this is what we'll do. We have, is this real or not? Surprise standout from each of the panel, and our rookie standouts. So
I didn't even know.
Oh man, Sky ain't did his homework, y'all. Tomatoes thrown at Sky. Tomatoes in the chat for Sky, y'all.
Oh, I see where you. Hey, bro, it's been a busy day. Go ahead.
I know. Hey, Sky, it's been a busy day, bro. You know, I watched your show earlier. It was dope, bro. All right, so here we go. Is this real or not? John, because I got mine, but you are on record. Now I'm asking you, is Miles Sanders, is this real?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, he looks healthy. He looks quick. He looks pretty good in the passing game. I just don't think this is a great running back room. So at where I sit there at right now is I think he would be the leader out of that group. I don't think that means that he's going to put up 1,000 yards or anything like that. I will also say that pretty much every day I've been out here, I've seen a little bit more from Jaden Blue. Like he's going to be part of that thing too. They've really been, I've gotten the sense that the coaching staff is really like what they've seen from Phil Maffa now that the pads are on. There's like some little things like that. So I do think though that Brian Schottenheimer is going to find different ways to get these guys involved. So I'm certainly not saying, oh yeah, Miles Sanders, put him down 15, 20 carries a game, and then they'll throw to him another 4 or 5. I'm not saying that. But of the group right now, as we've seen, 4 unpadded practices to fully padded practices, he's the one that stands out, I think, is the clear number 1 in that running back group. Now that can change, obviously. But what we saw in OTAs and minicamp, Javonte Williams was kind of that guy. And he's been fine. Don't get me wrong. I just have seen more juice from Miles Sanders.
Law Nation, we're going to Kyer Elam. Is this real or not?
Absolutely real. I think that he's one of those guys that's just chomping at the bit to get back out there on the field to prove that he was in a different system last year, and now he's in the right system that pretty much enhances his ability. So it's real, man. He catching interceptions, picking up babies.
Okay, that's a good one, Law. Sky Steele. Love the way this segment is rolling. Let me give Sky a hard one. Sky. Jonathan Mingo. Seen him popping up a lot. I tweeted this out earlier and I got some confirmation. Is this real or not? Can Mingo be receiver 4? Can he be reliable? Can he be possession guy? Can he? Because every time I see him catching a ball, Sky, it's like, intermediate. He's catching it. The ball's not hitting the ground. He's shielding defenders. He's not separating. Like, that's not him. But is this real, Sky?
It's real to me, damn it. No.
Hey, dog.
Hey, look, based off what you said, yeah, I definitely think Mingo can be a possession guy. I've seen a couple of those plays you're talking about too. But it's hard for me. This question probably should have been asked to one of them because they've been able to see each rep with Mingo as opposed to, just clips or whatnot. I'll use a Voch-ism we did on the show a lot. We talked about, quiet camps, right? I thought that, or what it sounds like, he's not having a quiet camp, but it's not loud either, right? So that's a good thing for him. He can't afford to have a quiet one. Is it loud? Are we seeing a big play down the field? Are we seeing, Moss and this stuff? Not just quite yet. I think we'll get there at some point because he has that physicality. So I'll say, yeah, it's real. I listened to his interview today, y'all, and he said, I am not out there, thinking too much. This is now me being involved in the system a little bit longer, being around quarterback, being around the offense coordinator, et cetera. he feels a lot more confident. It seems like he's playing like that. I personally haven't seen enough to quantify it up more than what you said. Hey, possession guy, catch the slants, things like that. So yeah, I'll say that's real on it.
All right. And now I want to talk about surprise standouts. This could be anybody. It could be the same players that you thought was real or not real. For me, I'll go with my surprise standout. I'm going to go back to Kyer Elam. Like, for me, for a guy, confidence, John. Yeah. He said this much. You're on your boots on the ground, John. So, like Sky said, maybe I need to ask y'all. But, like, bro, he looked – okay, it's not just the interceptions. Just so we clear, y'all. He's sticky in coverage. He's having breakups. He's there. I think that this Kyer Elam thing could be a gem. Now, week 1, he goes out, gives up 150 to A.J. Brown, and that could happen, and he could bounce back, whatever. But if he can get you to the window that gets Diggs and then back, I feel good, man. So that's my surprise. John, who's your surprise standout so far?
Elam's a good one for sure. He would definitely be in my top 2 or 3. But for me, I'm going to go Donovan Ezeraku, and it's just not like from what I've seen, but it's also just when you talk to people, like other players, just talking about how, talking to other offensive linemen, what they've seen from Ezeraku. I think that when I first saw him at rookie minicamp, I thought the size kind of surprised me because he just doesn't have that big, imposing, like tall, big body. But man, he is quick, and he's in a tough spot a little bit because he's in what I think is the most loaded position group on the team. Like, to me, what I've seen out here, when I look at their roster, that edge rusher group, and that's without Micah Parsons doing anything yet, is really talented, whether you talk about Nealon or Sam Williams or Dante Fowler. But Ezeraku's been the one that has stood out most, that I don't know what I was really expecting. But it was funny that when Stephen Jones was asked about him yesterday, he said that Aaron Whitecotton was jumping on the table that to consider him at 12 overall. I think that would have been a little rich, but if he can keep doing it with the pads on, that'll be a big one. So yeah, Ezeraku for me.
Law?
Man, this is a surprisingly, man, you guys took most of the guys that I pretty much wanted to say. But what about big number 99? He showed up in some pass rush drills and shooting D-tackle drills. So, and that's Winfrey. I forgot his first name. I call him
Perrion.
Perrion.
That's a good one, Law.
Yeah. I think that's a good situation for us. I think that he's hungry. I think that he got a point to prove, and that would be my most surprised guy right there.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off him. Perrion Winfrey was the guy I was going to say based off of what I'm hearing down there. This is a guy that could play a lot in the A-gap as opposed to just strictly 3-tech, because he has that length that Flus likes. He's 6'4", and long arms, wingspan, things like that. And I made, if you go watch the show earlier, I did. I made a comparison, and I'm not saying he's going to be this guy because this guy was much taller and he had a crazy spurt. But if he can be David Irving-ish for you, one of those kind of head cases that got, dropped out, undrafted type of guy, issues in college, issues in the pros, whatever. Cowboys picked him up off the practice squad, and David Irving was your most talented lineman. He wasn't, reliable, but he was talented. Perrion Winfrey sounds like the talent is shining out there, and he's hungry, and this could be his last shot. So it seems like this guy's going to make the team. It's just a matter of how often will he be in the rotation, and if the Cowboys are going to go with this thing where they're not going to roll with the traditional ones and they're going to use more of Winfrey's and Solomon Thomas next to Osa, then Winfrey is probably the guy because I think he's taller and might even be bigger than Solomon Thomas. So I think he will get a little bit more tick. And from all I'm hearing, is much better camp than Mozzie Smith. So.
The only ones that we didn't mention that I was going to add in there, Brevin Spanford before this injury. It's an ankle injury. He's only out a couple of weeks. It's not like this is some major thing. Brevin Spanford as a pass catcher definitely has stood out to me. And there was one other one, and the name just, oh my God, who was it? Oh, since the pads have come on, there's been a couple plays where I thought Ryan Flinoy has really stood out.
That's his game. Physical. He's very physical, big body, and he's a willing blocker. John, we'll let you go. I
Okay,
know you,
real quick, 2 other things I want to touch on before I go.
Okay, hey, John, hey.
Joe Milton. I love everything that we're seeing, but you guys probably will notice from the videos a little bit. Can't wait to see him in the preseason games. I just think he hangs onto the ball just a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Like where you're not going to get hit. He can tuck it and run, and obviously he has a lot of moves, a lot of athleticism. So I'm interested to see him once they're playing in the preseason or when they scrimmage and practice against the Rams. So that's the only thing with him. And then Pickens, him and Dak finally connected on a deep ball today, which I think is going to be a big part of their offense. So the only thing left on my checklist for camp that I need to see is I want to see some red zone work and see some fade balls to Pickens. That's the only thing we have not seen.
Gotta have that, John.
That traditional Des Bryant, throw
Easy.
it up. Yeah. We have not seen that yet, but I think that's coming. But yeah, so just want to throw those in there.
All right, man, John, we'll let you go. Be safe. We'll see you on Thursday, guys, for John.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Appreciate you, John.
Wednesday, John.
All right. See you, fellas.
All right. Because they don't practice tomorrow, Law? They're off tomorrow?
Yeah, they off tomorrow.
Yeah,
and what I was going to ask them, too, is that 2 guys that surprisingly been having good days was Jalen Brooks, believe it or not. And the guy that I've been giving so much hell to is Andre Booth, and he got hurt, though.
I heard.
But those are 2 guys. Yeah, it's crazy.
So
Andre Booth, he can't make up enough ground for me to feel confident. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Look, we'll give Kyer a bone or 2, Sky. Booth, some of the games I done seen. Love you, brother. I don't know if you watching this.
In that Booth, bro.
But Booth, I love you, bro.
You need bodies, though. You need bodies. So, man.
Hey, so Sky, now we can jump on our back. You're a little choppy, Law, so I see maybe if you clear up. But now, Sky, let's jump in our draft bag. Then we'll get to some of these supers and we'll let these people get their rest. Been a great show. It was close to 5 at one point. Let's get the numbers back up. Oh, housekeeping, guys. Make sure if you're listening to this, wherever you listen to your podcast, that Apple Music, just leave a 5-star rating. Send it to your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, your dog, everybody. Let's go rookies, Sky. So my rookie standout, believe it or not, has been Tyler Booker. So early on, I saw a few plays. This is gonna happen, and he said this. I do like Tyler, but he's very aware. I love when players say, "Nah, he got me," or "Nah, I struggle with quickness," or Osa's a 6. He said Osa's a 6-year vet. Like, I'm gonna get beat. You know what I mean? And he's very aware. And he had a few blocks that I'm like, okay, he understands body positioning. He understands that if I reach that shoulder or if I get that backside cut off, they just can't get through my body. And I saw a few of those on it was like inside zone. He was able to just get that cut off. Booker's good, man. Like he's gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle with quickness, but that was on his scouting report. But when he gets hands on you, he's gonna move people, and that's what I think everybody's been asking for in the run game. So that's my rookie standout. Who's yours, Sky?
I mean, it has to be Zaraku, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I could go Blue, who is starting to put it together here, and there's some things where the details, the nuances of the position, which we talked about this before. He has the skills, the electricity, the juice, and all that. It's just getting the little details of finer tuning that for the running back position. But Easy E, he's been flashing as well, and this has been like a consistent thing. Now I've seen. Here's the thing. Don't get twisted. TG is battling him too. Like TG's he's won against everybody. Tyler Guyton, that is. But he's out, and we're not talking about him. But Donovan Izaraku seems to have been consistent. And Law, you can attest to this more than I can. It doesn't seem like it's just flash plays that he's making. My only concern, and I saw this going up against Tyler, and Tyler's not a powerful guy, is he can't run down anybody's chest. And when they get their hands on him, we talked about this in his scouting report when we drafted him. If he doesn't, counter, if he can't get off, he's not a big enough guy to turn that speed into power or counter the speed to power as opposed to speed into power, if that makes sense, Foots, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Speed to power is rush move, but can he counter that speed if it gets thwarted into power in a counter? I'm still waiting to see him do, but he's been a guy that, dude, we had this conversation, a while ago. I think it was on doing our right podcast. I was like, hey, 4.5 sacks is the over under. Man, it feels like he's gonna hit that over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Donovan Ezraku, I'd lock him for 6 sacks just off the strength of. I told somebody this today. You have to set protection to 11, and so how many? Show me the team. How many teams in this NFL that we cover, Sky, have an O line that has good tackle, good guard, good center, and then you look at the other side, they have good guard, good center. Like a couple, but not every team, and so. When they start those stunts, I think he's gonna be really good in the stunt game. I saw that he had a few plays that just tripped Tyler Booker up because he's quick and he can get downhill and he's a big body and he has control of his movements. I mean, his short shuttle was like the best at the combine. So I mean,
that's a great point about the stunts because I can see him being arguably the second best stunt man because Micah is unbelievable, right? What Micah stunts is ridiculous. But what makes him ridiculous is that he can make you miss so quick, right? Like by the time you realize, oh shit, here comes 11, it's too late. I feel like there's some of that to Izaraku as well, Law.
Yeah, how you feel, Law?
Yeah, most certainly. And when you look at everything about what he's asked to do, he's not asked to be the end-all, be-all guy going into this season. So, yeah, man, he's very surprising to me. I'm just going to go off of the other guy, my guy, Jadon Blue. I think that he's been showing that he can run in between the splits, been catching some crazy passes in the backfield as well as downfield. Also, he hasn't put the ball on the ground yet. So that's a good thing to see that he's working on those small, minor details.
Before we get to these super, Sky, me and you were texting today. Bro, I know John said Miles Sanders. I'm now starting to believe, and that's what I said. I know Jadon's one of your puppies, Sky. Bro, he got some juice. He had a cutback on a run, and he didn't break stride. And I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. And if they're gonna lean in a heavy duo and gap stuff, if he's seeing it like that and hitting it like that, it's gonna be hard not to play him. And so, you can't be nothing but excited for him, especially like after the whole, oh yeah, he's lazy and that stuff. And yeah, but whatever. I mean, if he gonna play football, he's gonna run fast. Like he'll be on the football field. Trust me.
You made a great point where you said, you believe this is Clayton, and I'm saying, hey, this is how you got to hit it. This is when you got to hit it. I feel like he's being coached. He's being coached how to in this scheme, if that makes sense. Where Texas, hey man, this is your talents. Let's utilize your talents in this way. But in the NFL, you gotta acquiesce to the scheme. And now that's not to say fit a round hole into, or what is it? Fit a square peg into a round hole. I don't think that's what they're trying to do with Jadon Blue. It's just at the running back position, you coach, right? Yeah. There's certain schemes you have to run, and there's certain requirements you ask for the running back. I don't even want to call it concern because I had this conversation earlier. The thing you want to see him grow with is the nuance stuff. And that's stuff that it sounds like, the veterans are ahead of him, which is the pre-snap stuff, right? Voch was very, very eloquent in how he described this. Coming out of college, these running backs is looking to the sideline and you're looking at emojis. That's the play. You get into the pros, you hear how John Gruden runs out the plays, right? It's a whole different thing. Gets in line of scrimmage. You got to make sure that you got the play down right, the responsibility down right. Hey, if I'm catching a pass, I got to make sure I'm even here. I'm not too far up. I'm not too far behind. Or if I'm lined up the right way. Little tiny things that I think by the end of camp, all of that will be cleaned up enough to where you say, this man has to be a part of this package, or has to be a part of, has to have a role. So that's the only thing with Jadon Blue is the nuances of the position. You want to see him continue to grow with that. But at the end of the day, he has a skill set that, as he's learning all the nuance, get him involved, period.
That catch he has, Sky, it's natural. I mean, running backs don't make catches like that. He has ways, like you said, just get him involved.
Get involved, man.
Let's get to these supers, y'all, and we'll head out. Question: if Guyton is ready to go game one, do we suit him up and play him, or do we roll with the ladder and not rush his recovery? I know it's too soon.
I mean, if he's ready, that's the thing, right? If he's ready, he's ready, right? So I guess the question would be when. Like, if he's ready on the Wednesday, like, hey, he just got cleared Wednesday, I might set that one out. But if he gets cleared the week or two before, right, it's a 4-week injury as opposed to 6. Let's go. Let's rock.
Yeah, I mean, Guyton went through his come to God moment last year with the tackles and the DNs he had to play. I was looking for Guyton to have a good year. Like you said, Sky, when the pass came on, I saw Guyton in control, dare I say, with his kicks. His sets were better. He got beat a few times. He's gonna get beat. He's still a second year player, so you look for that second year jump. But his posture, his stance, it was clean, bro. And the one thing I was excited about was the way he walked off. It didn't look like it was. And John said this much. So if he's ready, I don't think that you need, because at the end of the day, like, you can sit him and and then he can get hurt. Like, bro, you a football player. Every time you touch that football field, it's a risk to get hurt. Law, what you thinking?
I agree. This is a gladiator sport. So, man, anytime you get out there on the field, you can get hurt. But if Tyler Guyton is cleared, then you put him out there. If not, then you go make sure you put a veteran out there. You can't start this season out with someone who's kind of green, especially against the Philadelphia Eagles week 1.
Yeah, I was there with it. Yeah. Hey, Law, everybody giving me Austin Richards, I was fighting them, bro. Like, I hear y'all, but nah. Like,
well, here's my thing with that, Foots. It's too early to have that type of confidence. Like, I was going to say this earlier, but I didn't want to put that in the air. But if this had happened later and it was a shorter injury, say this happened August 16th, right? And we got roughly a month almost of camp, and we saw Austin Rich have a monster camp, or a Dungy, or any having a really good camp. Wouldn't we all feel a lot better and more confident in saying that? I don't know if there's been enough to be like, oh yeah, man, Austin is going crush. Like, I don't think it's been enough for me to say that just yet. Let's see some preseason games. Let's see some more camp, and
Hey, Sky, do you remember? This is when I knew Jared Verse was a problem.
Oh, boy.
So, do you remember last year when they was doing the? I'm gonna go find a rep. I'm gonna text it to you. Do you remember last year when they was doing one-on-ones with the DNs, bro? When from the Rams, when
Verse
I tell
everybody.
you, bruh, but he literally forklifted awesome, bruh. I was like, dog, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like
that practice was. I was going at it with somebody on Twitter. Where it's like, hey man, Tyler Guyton, did this thing against him. Like, yeah, he won some reps, but from everything that I remember, Verse had a motherfucking week or whatever it was, a couple 2-3 days against the Cowboys in general. Verse and Law, you was out there. I was looking like, damn man, maybe we should take Jared Verse,
bruh. But I will say this. It's some reps where he gave Mailata and Lane Johnson hell to. Jared Verse is one of them ones.
Yes, Jared Verse is going to be top guy in this league.
Yeah. Not to talk Rams. I just remember that with Austin. It's like, hey, how many years has Austin been in the league, guys? This is his third year.
This will be his third season.
Yeah, as I think about that, it's like I shouldn't feel like, man, you can't play him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, why is he on the team in year 3? So maybe there is some of that. You know what, Sky? I hate to say it, but is this a blessing in disguise? Like, do we get to see? Okay.
No, it's not. It's not. Hey, it's not because he needs these reps.
Yeah.
Tyler Guyton needs these reps.
Yeah, that's true.
This isn't Tyron Smith. If Tyron Smith gets dinged up, whatever, blessing in disguise. I see these young boys. Look, y'all, I don't need to see. I don't want to see. I don't care to see a Dungy and Austin Richards and the other. I need TG out there getting all them reps. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Yeah. Ain't no blessing.
So, yeah, I can't fight Sky on that one. Here we go. I'm going to definitely let Sky take this one. And then, Law, feel free to jump in because you said it. Fellas, the interior D-line worries me. I think it worries everyone. Are there any talks about bringing someone in? Wilkins is a pipe dream, possible trade.
Uno reverse card, Law Nation. Because look, I'm going to use this opportunity. The truth, I appreciate you for the $5 super chat. I've then talked to a few people down there, and I want to talk to one more. Mozzie Smith, good sir. We saw the video footage of old Tyler Smith throwing him out the club, right? I had a little jokey joke earlier about how Mozzie Smith, he just feel like he's just ready to go home. It looked like all the time he just, we all play with somebody like that. We got to practice. Usually a big fella, and the big fella just huffing and puffing, and he just got an attitude, and he just tired, and he hungry, and he ready to go. He a mama's boy. You can't say nothing to him because he's crying all the damn time. But some of those kids, whenever they turn it on, I'll be like, oh shit, all right, he nice. Has Mozzie turned it on though? Because he seemed like he the type that get a little attitude and he ready to go home, man.
So with
Law, I want to know.
Mozzie looking like a straight up 3-tech, man. So I know he lost a lot of weight. We just not seeing anything pop out, jump out. But far as that Wilkins thing, it's a pipe dream because I don't think that the Cowboys would be willing to pay that money, regardless of whatever his contract looked like, and they cut him. I think that he still warrant a contract, and I don't think the Cowboys are willing to do that.
Yeah,
bruh, I was gonna say, y'all, I'm probably the last person on the Mozzie. When you ever seen the Titanic where they kept playing at the end, the band going down and freezing water? That's me. I'm playing the drums going down, Sky. It's not looking good, bro. That rep was bad. Now it's Tyler Smith, but I can't excuse.
And I'm not even trying to overreact on the rep. That's why I asked Law about outside of the rep, because I've asked others outside of the rep, and I'm getting a consistent answer, and that's the concerning part. So now it's at the point where it's like, all right, let's hope. When is it the Rams they practicing against or the Chargers? I can't remember which.
Rams.
Okay, so one of them LA teams. You're hoping that he has a good day there. You're hoping preseason he snaps.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a confidence thing with him, potentially part of it maybe. Let him get his confidence going so he can get into that grown man body if it's still a grown man body. I don't know where he's at now. He might be at 300, 305. I don't know where he's at, y'all. 3-tech Mozzie. Let's go.
Sounds like Sky.
I know is Sky Foots. All I know is, man, the brother can skate on grass. He can skate on grass. That's all I know.
I said something a couple weeks ago. I got a little one, and my little one watches Miss Rachel. And you familiar with you watch Miss Rachel? Okay,
I remember that, John, bro.
So y'all know the song "Hop Like a Bunny, Hop Hop Hop." I feel like that's what Mozzie Smith is doing.
Yeah,
you see Mozzie Smith doing a hop backwards, and it's just you ain't supposed to be moving like that, Mozzie. And that was something that was actually on film when people was trying to throw the whole Mozzie Smith as XY. That was actually on film more often than not. So,
Guy, when you start having me on the channel for draft coverage, I'll be reading you D tackles. I've already started. We got preseason. Maybe he'll turn it on. We'll see. But it's gonna be. I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna be, y'all. If we go a little bit over, it's cool. It's gonna be your defensive coordinator coaching his way out of this stuff if they don't give him another body. Like you said, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Seeing
White Cotton snapping, so
he is. But you know what? But you know what's crazy though, Sky? I've seen Solomon Thomas look more stout than him at one, and that's what's scary, bro. No, like I've seen the reps where I'm like, dog, he's pressing these guards, but Solomon got a grown man body too, though. Like Solomon knows how to play blocks. He did that a lot in college. So even though he was a DN in college, it's just something's off with Mozzie Smith. I don't have nothing good to say. I'm gonna shut up.
I think it's mental, man. Well, I mean, it's more than that. Because my last thing on this, I'm still seeing the slow get off. We in year 3, y'all. We in year 3, and I'm seeing. I mean, slow some of these plays down, and while you out there, slow him down. He's still slow off the ball, and I don't care how strong he is. If he's slow off the ball, it ain't gonna work, dog.
It's not gonna work, Sky. Cowboys always funky with their timelines. Y'all think 46? I'll answer this one really quick. I think it means what we said earlier. AA Ron, thank you for the super, the $5. I think it means when he's healthy. Like when he's ready to go, they're gonna let him play football. Like we've seen, there's been no limitations on Sam Williams, and that's because Sam Williams attacked the process and he's healthy, and he said this much. So him, shout out to you, him, for the $2. Cut Mozzie, pay GP now before the price goes up. And if you're just joining, this is Skeptical Fan. How long is Tyler Guyton out? If you're just joining, we got a scare from Ian Rappaport. Tyler Guyton is out 4 to 6 weeks with a bone fracture, bruise, bone, something in that knee, left leg, I believe. So John laid it out perfectly if you want to catch this on the rebound, Skeptical Fan. Sky Law, you good?
Yeah, man, good stuff. I'm excited for this. I think this
it's great, man.
preseason
I
Hall
got
of
to
Fame
say,
game.
they looking for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
me and go ahead. You
brother,
can jump
man,
off, Law.
it's great
Me and Sky can take us out if you want to jump off.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, man.
All right, man.
Well, you had a point. What was you saying, Sky? I'm sorry.
No, I'm excited for. We got, I think, preseason Hall of Fame game this week. Cowboys next week will be the start of the, I want to say, joint practices, right? Is that joint practice next? Yeah, next week joint practice. So some good stuff coming up, man. But these last 2 days padded practice, definitely some questions are starting to be answered, I believe.
Sky, I want to say our first preseason game is August 8th.
Not next week, right? But
Chad, where we at? First preseason.
No, that would be next week. Yes, next week.
Crazy work.
Yeah. So not only will we get joint, but we also get the preseason game. So, man, this is moving. We are, I believe, a month away from the season starting or something like that. Close to it.
Man, this is gonna roll, and you guys are getting all your information here, guys. The Cowboys Collective. Me
take off.
Yeah. This is gonna take off, and I mean, honestly, the information you guys are able to get today from John is why you guys should be here. Why you should be here. You should be subscribed. And if you're not already subscribed to Skywalker Unleashed, if you're not subscribed to Law Nation, my channel, but when you get this information together in a body, and we got some special things coming too, Scott, I don't even know. So we'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll have more information. They don't practice tomorrow. They practice Wednesday and Thursday. So as news comes in, you'll get it from us. As always, thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. We love you all. Peace. That law. Peace, y'all. Peace.